Hi, my name's Anthony. I'm currently living in Auckland, New Zealand. This lesson is for week 2 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera.org. I'll be teaching a need-to-do checklist when preparing a project in your digital audio workstation. Number 1. Proper project name and location. Have a location or folder on your computer dedicated only for the projects you'll undertake with your DAW. This is incredibly handy as you know where to find everything and what folder you want to back up when needed. If you save projects in random locations, they can be harder to find and in some cases go missing. While you have a dedicated location for them, always ensure that you name your files properly. For example, if you're doing a recording of your sister Mary singing Amazing Grace, a good example of what to name the project would be Mary Smith Amazing Grace 27.07.14. Using this format, we know who you were recording, what the recording was, and what data was recorded on. 3 key indicators that you will want to remember for someone's recording. If perchance you saved it in a different location by mistake, other than your usual dedicated folder and can't find it, well, you can always search by who you recorded, what you recorded, or the date. Number 2, digital audio preferences. Ensure that before any recording begins that you configure your sample rate and bit depth. This needs to be done at the pre-production stage, as if you try to change these parameters mid-session, you can create a lot of issues for yourself and in some cases errors may occur. You'll have to do this in the preferences of your desired DAW, but also it may need to be done on the driver of your digital audio interface. I'd highly recommend a sample rate of 48 kHz and a bit depth of 24-bit for best results. Recording file type. For best quality when recording, it's paramount to use uncompressed audio file types. This should be a WAV file or an AIFF, or where possible use a BWF, which is a broadcast wave format. The BWF stores more metadata, which is useful if the project file crashes in your machine. Choose to save your files as interleaved. An interleaved file means you have a single file that includes both the left and right audio channels. If you have non-interleaved files, it creates a separate file for the left and separate file for the right channel. Working with interleaved files is a lot easier and will come more naturally to you. These settings are available on all DAWs, so please familiarize yourself with your preferences and settings location within your desired digital audio workstation. Number 4, hardware settings. This is making sure that your DAW is configured to work with your audio interface. You'll have to set up within your DAW what in and out settings your interface is going to use. Here you will be able to select what line or mic channels are going to be used and also what output is going to be used for playback, etc. It's pretty straightforward if recording using one channel, but becomes a little more complex, say if recording a drum kit or advancing onto a full orchestra. The buffer size. While recording, use a low buffer size, try 128 samples. Lowering the buffer size reduces latency, which is the lag or delay you get when monitoring audio that's being recorded through the interface. A buffer size is the collection of individual samples, and the amount of delay it imposes will be related to the sampling rate of the buffer. During the post-production stage, raise the buffer size, for example, to 1024 samples when necessary. A larger buffer size allows you to use more plugins, more software synthesizers, and the computer will run more efficiently. Let's reflect on our checklist for preparing a new project within your DAW. 1. Proper project name and location. Save your project in the designated folder drive you have created specifically for your digital audio projects and name the file appropriately as we discussed. 2. Digital audio preferences. Use a sample rate of 48 kHz and a bit depth of 24-bit. 3. Recording file types. We want to use uncompressed audio file types such as WAV, AIFF or broadcast wave format, ensuring they are interleaved. 4. Hardware settings. Check that you have configured the DAW to tell your digital audio interface which in and out settings it will be using. And the buffer size. When recording, use a low buffer size, say 128 samples for low latency, while in post-production, increase the buffer size to 1024 samples. I hope this checklist serves you well as a setup guide when creating a new digital audio project.